Welcome back, everybody, to the Honesty Podcast. Welcome back. Good night to everyone. You guys already know it's the Honesty Podcast with your girl, Word Justice in the building. We got a lot to talk about. Let's finish off here this week, y'all. Vibe out with me real quick. Welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed the beat. That is from Skull Crusher Production _7, Ultimate K-Man, Puerto Rican 360. If you guys are interested, hit them up. They always have different exclusive beats. I'm so happy for those who came into the room. Like I said, welcome to the Honesty Podcast. I was running a little bit behind schedule, guys, but I'm happy for those who came through the support. Yes, let's talk about it. Okay, we went from R. Kelly being convicted, y'all, to now R. Kelly getting ready to snitch. And my question is, who is he going to snitch on? Because allegedly, from my understanding, you got Jay-Z, Jermaine Dupri, a lot of other people, Chris Stokes that worked with him. And so that's why I'm saying allegedly, guys. Because for me, once I'm like, okay, you got convicted of whatever counts, 9 counts you got convicted off of, and now you want to have less time. So now you willing to snitch on other celebrities that was involved in sex trafficking and racketeering as he was. So with that being said, for me, I had to come on and just give you guys a little insight on my feeling. I feel like it's a lot of them out there that has been involved, enablers, knew a lot what was going on, and joined in to whatever R. Kelly was doing. Now, my thing is Jay-Z, allegedly, that name caught me by storm because for me, it was like, damn, I don't see Jay-Z really, but who knows? To each his own. I got my 2 guests in the building, Puerto Rican 360 and Ultimate came in here with me to discuss this topic. And like I said, I just want to talk about it to see what everybody's insight is. And if you want, you can place your comments. I will also be reading your comments. So Puerto Rican 360, he's convicted, and now guess what? He's ready to snitch. What's your thoughts on that?
Peace, y'all. What's going on, everybody? Well, my thought is he's pulling a Weinstein right now. Sounds familiar. You got Epstein with the list, then you got Weinstein. They cut half of his time because he snitched on a lot of other celebrities. A lot of people, slowly but surely. A famous designer, he's in his 80s right now. He got arrested, I think last year. You got Ron Jeremy, the famous porn star. Also, you got African Bambaataa with the civil suits. There's a lot of sex going on. What was going on with the sex play?
But that's the thing. They've been knowing about all of these things
You
for a
know,
long period of time.
but a lot of people have to think about the names that were thrown out. Jay-Z,
Allegedly.
allegedly, right? You got to think about Jay-Z and the career and all the back stuff. Certain artists, female artists that were around and they were in their teens and he was a young man. Man, not a teenage man, a young man over the age of 18 years old. So, there's the things you got to think about, people. And you know what? He pulling a Nino Brown right now. If I'm going down, everybody coming down with me.
He sure enough is. I'll be real with you. He is definitely pulling one of those. But for me, because I knew that him and Jay-Z were on tour. I think a lot of people knew back in them time and that Jay-Z and him were on tour. But then I also knew that they had a lot of situations while being on tour as far as feuds with each other. So I don't know. That's why I'm just like, I'm still waiting for that part because I have to get real proof. So I will continue to say allegedly on Jay-Z part. Jermaine Dupri also, because it was like, okay, he did a lot of business with a lot of different people. And this is the thing, the industry has covered up a lot. That's what we have to be mindful of. They've been literally covering up a lot, dealing with sex trafficking and all of that. And honestly, I don't put it past nobody, but it was definitely flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted to hear. Even when I got wind of Michael Jordan. I'm like, what? Michael Jordan? Allegedly, y'all, allegedly. During the time when he was like, I believe I could fly. Y'all already know. So Ultimate came in. What is your feelings on this? Because it is getting crazy out here.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.
As far as Jay-Z is concerned, I mean, let's go back and do a little hip hop history. In 1996, a young lady by the name of Foxy Brown was introduced to the world. Let's not forget that Jay-Z is the one that brought her out. And at that time, Foxy Brown was like maybe 15 or 16 years old. A lot of people didn't know that. When she
Message.
first came out with that first album, she was like 16 years old. She was still in high school.
Message.
You know what I'm saying? And Jay-Z at that time was like maybe 27, maybe 28, around hard Knock Life, Reasonable Doubt time. And Jigga Man, it was alleged that Jigga Man took Foxy Brown's virginity.
What?
That's right. She said it herself.
It's a scandal.
Foxy Brown even alleged that Jay-Z gave her STD.
Woo. Hot sauce.
Foxy Brown was in school. Jay-Z was sleeping with her.
Mm.
Now, as far as Jermaine Dupri is concerned, let's not forget that he was responsible for bringing Chris Cross to the world. And back in the day, it was alleged that he molested one of them boys, well, both of them. And he had to pay them $12 million to keep their mouth closed.
Bribery alleged.
You know what I'm saying? And Mac Daddy, or Daddy Mac Daddy, the one that died, I think it was Mac Daddy.
Mac Daddy.
Yeah, he ended up catching this rare cancer where he started losing his hair out of nowhere. He developed some type of form of alopecia. And he started getting heavily into the drugs. Why? Because he was touched as a child. So as far as Jay-Z and Jermaine Dupri, I'm not concerned. I mean, I'm not surprised that those names came up.
Me either.
Definitely Jay-Z. I kind of knew about that when I was one of hip hop secrets. Jay-Z and Jermaine Dupri.
That was definitely news to me. I promise you guys that was definitely news to me. But you brought up Chris Cross, and it's so funny that you bring up Chris Cross because I got wind allegedly that Jada Pinkett, Will Smith's wife, was involved with one of the boys from Chris Cross.
Mm.
Now, that when I got wind of that, I was like, oh shit, okay. So basically, you're beginning to understand like this music industry had a lot of pedophilia going on. But the saddest part about it is that people were willing to cover up a lot of shit. And I feel like almost like as they knock a couple of them down, every time somebody's being exposed as they knock one down.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, which I think it should have been put out there for a long time, but then it goes back to the type of communities, especially within our communities, right? We keep everything under wraps, under clothes, because it's about this person's talent, they making money, the position they in. It's crazy. And honestly, I know like a lot of females, like a lot of young females breaking into the business had a hard time. That's why majority of them end up sleeping with these, rappers and these producers and etc. Not for nothing too. I don't put it past Puff Daddy. I know Puff allegedly, but I believe Puff Daddy has something involvement in a lot of different stuff when it comes down to this pedophilia that's going on in the industry. I mean, for me, it's really disgusting to be quite honest, guys. I feel like the lack of caring for our women and young boys, because I don't feel like a young boy should ever have to basically give up a part of himself sexually just to get to another stepping stone in the industry. And it almost feels like that's what's been going on. Like you literally have to do something in order to get where you want to be, if you're considering yourself to want to be on the top. I mean, like I said, I can't believe R. Kelly, but go ahead, R. Kelly, snitch. You might as well snitch, nigga, because you're going down. You are going down. So if they're going to give you lesser time, you might as well snitch on the whole of them. Why not? I'm just saying. Now, I have Puerto Rican 360 that's going to put you guys onto a little. I mean, when I tell you a little bit more back information on certain things that she heard about also, and we're going to take it even further. Like I said, whoever's in the building, thank you for coming through. Even if you're in my bushes, I appreciate you for coming through. All is welcome. Leave a comment, all of that. But please subscribe to the Odyssey Podcast, hit the up like button and notification bell so you know every time that I do go live. Okay? All right, Puerto Rican 360. What more details do you want to give on this case as far as R. Kelly snitching?
Well, I was reading some of the articles out of the New York Times, and one of the people that strike me well in this article was the singer Sparkle. Um, she was the young lady that collabed with R. Kelly on one of his songs back in the day. She was up and coming, and somewhere along the line in their friendship or relationship or whatever that they had going on, um, she introduced R. Kelly to her niece because, according to her, he didn't display any of these um, behaviors in front of her. He was a gentleman. He was very nice to her, very sweet to her. So she introduced her niece to him to help her, work on her voice and things like that. Don't forget, R. Kelly was trained by a renowned uh, classical teacher, music teacher. So he got very intense voice lessons and them kind of things. So that's why she brought her niece over. She was also a very young teenager.
But I have a problem with that too.
The teenager that was in the video that he was peeing on.
Right.
So we all know who that is. That's where the videotape came from and all that stuff.
But why would you leave a minor?
You got to remember, we're dealing with an abuser. An abuser knows how to get around shit.
An abuser couldn't know how to get around it, but the thing about it is, with you not knowing this person is an abuser and you have an underage child with you and you know what, okay, because it comes like I'm a parent, right? It's no way that I'm going to take my child to basketball practice and the coach tells me, "Oh, you can leave him at basketball practice because I don't feel comfortable." I'm staying. I want to see everything, the workouts, the warm-ups, the everything.
Right.
I'm not giving.
It wasn't like that. It was like this. She brought him over. They met. They went to the studio. They worked a little bit, and then the niece started contacting him on her own.
And how was the niece able to even get? That's the thing.
Right. So let's say Sparkle could have went to the bathroom to pee, and in that split moment, oh yeah, let me get your number. So when I need you to come and practice, I can just call you. You got they make it sound very.
I think they got too
they make it
comfortable.
sound very clean. And like there's no nothing to be worried about.
I feel like ultimately, right? Even if say that scenario, right? I think that the comfortability of him being a star is what made them feel safe, right? Because oh my God, he's well known, he's a great musician. Everybody's trying to work with R. Kelly, and so my child or my niece is safe with him. But that is the problem.
Right? You get too comfortable. So anyway, she came across the videotape, um, and she, automatically, immediately reported it to her family and so on and so forth. So he went to trial in 2008. He was acquitted for that because yet again, a parent rather take money. A parent. I'm gonna keep saying that. A parent. A lot of these young ladies, their parents put them in that situation.
Break down the word.
Not all of them. Not all of them, but some of them. I'm not leaving my child nowhere with no man. If she wants to pursue a singing career, I'm going to go with her everywhere. I'm going to dedicate my time and my energy to make sure I'm there through all of her endeavors.
Exactly.
I'm not her. So I blame the parents. The young ladies that parents dropped them off to him, y'all should be put in jail too.
I agree, 100%. And the craziest thing about it, and Ultimate came in, jump in any we definitely in look, jump in anytime you want. But the craziest thing about that is let's talk about the Aaliyah shit, right? Because the whole time Aaliyah mother acted like she had no knowledge of nothing. Wow. She lied about Aaliyah being married to him at the age that she was, which was like 15 or 14 years old. And now everything has hit the fan that she knew because she had to do the annulment. You understand what I'm saying? But it was all based on greed. Because in some form of fashion, these people are money hungry.
Let's not forget Aaliyah's. Let's not forget, family, that Aaliyah's uncle was responsible for Aaliyah meeting R. Kelly. Barry Hankins.
Oh, I got some things to say about that too with Barry Hankerson.
Okay, old Barry Hanky boy. He was responsible for Aaliyah meeting R. Kelly. So Aaliyah's parents already knew about Aaliyah because Aaliyah was basically sold to the Illuminati.
Allegedly.
She was a beta. She was a beta sex kitten, just like a lot of these Monarch program butterfly girls that you see in the videos. When you see them in the leopard, cheetah print, tiger print, butterflies, these various symbols let you know that certain stars are under the MK Ultra mind control program. They sex kittens, so they beta sex kittens. Those are the ones they use to mesmerize and attract and captivate your eyes on TV. So these are the monarch butterfly sex kittens.
The craziest part about that, speaking about when you mentioned Barry Hankerson was on the Dr. Oz show 5 days ago. And he was literally breaking down. And his statement when Dr. Oz asked him questions regarding Aaliyah and him bringing Aaliyah to the studio to meet R. Kelly or whatever, the first song that she did on Talent Search, It blew his mind. So he knew that she was ready and she was talented. However, when he did bring her to R. Kelly, he was on top of it from what he's saying. He said his heart is forever broken because he went to his sister and told his sister, like, listen, this right here is not going to work because this man is sick. Okay? That's how Aaliyah ended up with Missy Elliott and Timbaland and Magoo and them, because he said he told his sister it's two options, because his sister, Aaliyah's mom, allegedly, y'all, allegedly, people ain't trying to take me down, allegedly, y'all, was sleeping with R. Kelly and had a relationship with R. Kelly. So when, from my understanding, what he said on Dr. Oz was he told his sister, gave her an ultimatum. Okay, and that's how he went looking around for other producers to deal with Aaliyah, and that's how he came across the Missy Elliott and all of that. And Aaliyah eventually started to work with them.
Right.
Okay, he said, but literally, he already knew and he had put it out there, but he was always painted in this image as if he actually sold his own niece. And that for him wasn't the case, because he said he looked at her as a daughter and it was her mother. Allegedly, but that's what Barry Hankerson said on the Dr. Oz show. So if you guys are interested, check Dr. Oz out and watch that interview, because I was just like,
you got to cover your ass, man. He know what's going on in the industry more so than anybody else. So of course he had to save face and cover his ass.
I was watching a interview with what is her name? One of the survivors, Ariel. Azriel. And she was talking, and this was the second interview now
with Gayle King.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she was just saying how, certain trigger words he would use, like for instance, if they said anything about sex trafficking or whatever, they were already programmed by him to say, "Oh, we didn't come here to talk about that." To reroute the question.
I don't doubt it. And to be quite honest with you, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna make a joke right now, but doesn't Azriel Clary look old? She look like
she looks
what?
Yeah, she looks bad.
She looks
because
old.
she's going through a lot. She's going through a lot of self-loathing right now, because she knows that she put herself in that predicament to an extent, and she lied on national TV, and there's a lot of ridicule. There's a lot of people that sympathize with her, and there's a lot of people that ridicule her.
I feel like I don't ridicule her because I feel like she's young and she was still going through a learning process, but I do ridicule the parents. And the reason why I say that is because the video was out there of him with a 14-year-old sexually assault, peeing on her, doing all. The video was out there. So what would make you want to take your child to his concert at 17 years old to meet him? What would make you want to have your child travel with perfect strangers and you sign over consent?
Right. You're right.
And that's the problem. The money is the root to all evil, yet again, that people are willing to sell their kids. Because that's what you're doing. You selling your kids.
Yep.
Period, point blank. For the life of me, I couldn't understand that. So I definitely, I don't blame Azra. I think she was young. But more or less her parents and them wanted it more than her. And so they was willing to sacrifice her in a sense. I don't know, y'all. This shit getting crazy. But like I said, R. Kelly, go ahead, buddy. Snitch. Because I want to do some more commentary, because I need to know who is out here on this pedophile ring, sex trafficking, racketeering. Put it all out there. Y'all all might as well sit in the jail and rot.
Make it a family affair. I'm just saying, where this nigga had all these women, right? When the fuck did he sleep?
That's what I'm trying to.
When the fuck did he wash his ass or have a bite to eat? Damn, you a busy nigga.
What? When did you have time to allow people to allegedly eat feces?
That's deep.
Okay.
That's fucking deep.
But that's what Azriel Clary went in depth with the rest of the interview with Gayle King. They haven't released it fully yet, but that was a part of it.
Because it's very explicit. They said that a lot of the testimony was very explicit,
That's like wicked.
real bad. And that's the reason why that the media was not allowed to cover his trial live. Because the details were
But this
too
is what I'm
much.
saying. Even with his wife that he had the kids with, Andrea Kelly, right? She played a part and she knew what was going on. It is no
She
possible
too
way.
was a victim though.
But I think all of them need to go to jail.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like R. Kelly should get less time for snitching on anybody else. I think he should be
I feel
with
like
the same time.
his staff, and that includes all staff, engineers, all of that. Cause you know y'all engineer niggas was sitting there behind that board, and this nigga had bitches up in there. Get the fuck out of here.
Naked.
I've been in the studio before.
Naked.
Okay.
Naked. Allegedly, them
Right?
young
A
girls
lot of
was
shit
naked.
goes on when you go in the studio.
Right.
When you're an artist, you know what it is. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's just say that. Okay.
He went from
But
doing sold out shows, Madison Square Garden, to performing in the prison yard for cigarettes and Twinkies.
damn, cigarettes and Twinkies, motherfucker.
He went from making millions of dollars, sold out shows. Now he's performing in the prison yard for Twinkies and high hoes.
He should have been in the
Cigarettes
prison.
on the juggle.
He should be underneath the jail. And I understand that he had situations in his life when he was younger growing up that he went through. But he's a grown man. He knows right from wrong. And he knew what was being done to him was wrong. And he implicated that same pain onto others. Now, once they seen that video, because that sex DVD was out everywhere, that shit was the hottest thing when I was young. Okay? So once that hit, it would be no reason for him not to have been convicted a long time ago. Maybe it would have prevented all these different situations with other young women. And then, not to mention, he even gets down allegedly with boys.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Well, what was the young lady's name? The one that he made turn into a boy. Dominique. If not all of his victims, that one right there, that one broke my heart the most.
I mean, he put her through a lot. He made her do a lot.
Yeah. He made her tattoo her whole body all over like a boy. She had to cut her hair. She had to dress like a boy and conduct herself as a boy. She had to wear boy underwears. No bra, none of that. All boy clothes.
I think that was absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. And I just can't understand for the life of me why they feel like all the people that sat around, and that's why even the enablers that sat around, knew what happened, planned the plane tickets and did all of that, didn't have no understanding to what he was doing. Are you crazy? You guys didn't say nothing because the money was coming in. So you guys should be held accountable also, regardless to the money coming in. But like I said, regardless to if he snitched, he should still get hit with the same time. And everybody that was in his team should be hit with the same time. And whoever he does choose to snitch on, like I'm saying, I want him to snitch on others because it needs to be put out there. Maybe we can start to begin to change the hip hop range of what's happening inner. Because even the Cardi B's, don't get it twisted. The Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions, they have to do shit too to get where they're at.
Oh yeah,
big time.
And it shouldn't be that way. If you're talented, your talent should show. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be, I have to have sexual contact with you, or I have to give you something that you want in order for me to go to that next success level.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to the Harvey Weinstein. That's why he's, like you said, pulling the Harvey Weinstein. But that is what makes them feel like it's okay. Because guess what? If he snitches on who he snitches on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys say, I'm giving you 10 years. That does that mean that his sickness just went away?
It doesn't.
Come
but
on.
That's what happens when you have a person that has an untreated mental illness become the man. Because R. Kelly was the man in his time. And he had all kind of women of all kind of ages throwing it all at him. Okay? He didn't have to say nothing. All he had to do was give you a look, and the bitch was dropping it. Period. Period. And that's what happens. There's a lot of people in the world that have mental problems and things that they didn't deal with from their past. And then they get into some kind of a power and they abuse that power. And then what happens?
Yeah, it
You end up
overtakes
going
them.
up Shit's Creek. Because that's where the fuck he's going. Up Shit's Creek.
They allow that power to take over, and now it's like, all right, all the hurt and pain I've been through, I can now exhibit it onto somebody else. Like, this shit for me is the most saddest stuff that I've heard in a long, long time when it comes down to just the hip hop community, the music industry on a whole. And yeah, honestly, I am waiting. Like I said, please, R. Kelly, do your snitching, snitch to get snitch. Go ahead, snitch. But he still deserves the time that he deserves to get. And I will be doing commentary when he decides to snitch on who he decides to snitch on,
Let's
guys.
throw this in the pot real quick.
Of course. Ultimate K-Man, go right ahead and throw anything in the pot.
Sure, let's not forget about Chris Stokes. You know what I'm saying? Violating Raz B and B2K.
Oh my goodness.
Raz B even went on record to say that he was violated and manipulated by Chris Stokes and Marquise.
Facts.
Let's not forget about that.
Didn't Chris Stokes have something to do with the immature group too?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, all right. Because even when you look at certain things, like for instance, Marcus Houston, look at what? Look, he married a young girl, but he was with her before she turned 18. And even those little things that, like I said, it has a lot to do with the parent, though.
I'm gonna tell you this. My daughter was friends with a boy group. I won't say the name, but they were in more recent time.
Very popular.
Very popular. She started going to the meet and greets and things of that nature, and then eventually, somewhere down the line, her and her buddies became friendly on a one-on-one basis. Even one of the boys, they're very close to the boy's mother, even now to this day. So when they used to hang out with them and talk to them, there was one of them that was very vocal. And he's a very cute young boy, but he has certain mannerisms, feminine mannerisms. And he made mention to my daughter one day that the management team gives them NyQuil when they get to like the hotel so they can hurry up and fall asleep fast so they can get up the next morning and be on point. He also made mention that they can't eat like any junk food. Like you see how they show it on the movies that the celebrities order whatever they want, and no, it wasn't like that. They had to eat a very strict diet because they didn't want them to gain weight. They didn't want them to have any acne. They weren't allowed to have sex. They weren't allowed to have no women or girls in their hotel. They didn't want them interacting with no females at all. So that right there, those are just minor things. But you see how the control is the control. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. And because this young artist wants to spread their artistry with the world, they got to go under control. Oh, you can't eat this because you're a young boy. You'll get fat. You'll get acne. We can't have you on interviews with pimples and your skin looking all fucked up. Right. They also give them hormone blockers so they don't age as fast. All right. Little Bow Wow is just now starting to look like a grown man.
Yes, he definitely is.
Okay. Little Fizz, he still don't look like a grown man.
I do think a lot's been going on when it comes down to the young boys being sexually violated, and I think a lot of them kept it under wraps. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's the biggest problem, keeping shit under wraps, because people want to make it where they want to make it. And even the young person, as you being a young person, a young artist, and somebody's telling you, I can make your dream come true, you're not thinking of anything else but like, yo, I want to make it. I want my music to be heard. I want what I want. You understand? So now it's like, all right, I do this for you. You do this for me. And that shit right there is totally wrong. Period, point blank, all across the board. Like I said before, like for me personally, I love performing arts, right? Because that's what I consider it to be. You know, you performing arts that you love. And it's been going on like music industry, in the movie industry also. And it's sad because after you done tainted a young person that loved the arts or loved their craft, they no longer can find themselves, and now they begin to suffer with depression, mental situations,
And drugs.
and drugs. But this is the thing. That's why majority of them do head into drugs and dive deep into it. Okay?
Yep.
Because they're trying to cover up all that pain. Because they thought at the moment, like, if I get rich and I'm wealthy, then I'm gonna be fine. Not realizing it's damaging.
It's deeper than that.
It's deeper than that. Right.
That's
Because
right.
you're having somebody actually take your innocence. You're not willing, you're not doing it really willing, you know? Like I said, R. Kelly, you were disgusting. But go ahead and snitch on who you need to snitch on. And for those who are going to listen, okay, out there in the clouds, wherever y'all are, yes, he still deserves to get the time that he deserves to get. So that means if you was going to give him life originally, that's what he deserves to get. Period. Along with the rest of them. Okay? Now I want to tap into something else, guys. And as I go further into finding out more information, because I will continue to follow this situation with R. Kelly 100%. I will keep on doing commentary as I learn more information on what's happening. But now we're going to get into something else that we need to talk about. Back to this deadly deadline. And the reason why I'm saying deadly deadline, because at this point they're willing to shut down pages and do all of that if you mention certain things and certain names in a certain way, which I find it to be ridiculous. So now they're controlling how we speak. You know what I mean? Now is
freedom of speech.
Now your freedom of speech, you got to know how to, you know, say things in an appropriate manner. So for those of you who know what I'm talking about, we're talking about the jab, y'all. We are talking about the jab. Okay? So I came across this video, and this was with Lisa Bonet. And if you guys are not familiar with Lisa Bonet, she came from the Cosby Show. She played as Denise. And she spoke on, you know, the jab from way back then in 1990, because she did an interview in which she was speaking and saying that at this time she just had her daughter, and she didn't believe in getting her daughter immunized in no form of fashion, or even allowing them to even try to give her daughter the jab, right? And a lot of people spoke against it, you know. The reason why I'm bringing it up though is because it's like it blew my mind to know since 1990 that people such as herself that was in the industry spoke on these things happening, even down to why she decided to stop eating meats and where our meats were beginning to develop and what they were putting into it. This was being discussed since then. And she's a person, like I said, that was in the industry and got blackballed. And now it bothers me because it's like, yo, you can't say what you want to say because they want to blackball you from something that you believe, or even if they don't believe it, they want you to believe what they believe. And I feel like that shit right there had me in an uproar. I feel like a lot of our freedom of speech is being taken away, and a lot of our freedom and how in which we choose to live is being also slowly just taken away. How do you feel about that, Ultimate K Man, knowing since back then? I mean, it's even more, but it's just sad that not even celebrities, or let me say it better, it's just sad to know that you got to watch what you say, as you may not be around for too much longer.
Well, I'll say it like this. Either you could want real freedom or you can be free and dumb. And some people tend to be free and dumb, but they think they have freedom. They think they have freedom. And I don't mean to offend anyone, but when I say free and dumb, I mean that you think you free. Why? Because you get up, you're able to get on your phone, you're able to get in your car, pick the shoes that you want, watch the shows, watch, with restaurants you want to eat at, and this and that. What you fail to realize is still operated and done under a controlled environment. So you can never possibly be free. Every month you have to pay bills. Every 30 days you have to pay your rent, your phone bill, or a car note, or some type of bill. So nothing is not necessarily never free. It's not free. And as far as Lisa Bonet, she's always been one of those stars, one of those celebrities that always thought outside of the box. Take it back to the days of the Cosby Show. That was really her. Her how she was on the show. That's who she really was in real life. Real free spirited type of thinking person. One that wasn't really with the establishment, so to speak, and their ideas and ways of thinking and their plans for controlling and dominating the world. Because at the end of the day, this is what it all really boils down to: total domination, total control. When I say total control, that means control every facet, every aspect of life and the way it's going and going forward. So, as far as, the freedom and all that, freedom of speech, one should never ever be afraid to say what one feels. I'm like, really, who made up this real criteria or curriculum as to how one should speak? That always bothered me about society. In order to fit in their reindeer games or be a part of what they got going on, you have to act and conduct yourself a certain way. So that's not really totally freedom at all. You don't even really have a free choice when you operate and conduct yourself in those manners. I'm gonna say it on that note.
I totally agree with you because I also have a huge botherance with the fact that our children are now being held susceptible to what this government is forcing upon us, right? And they're taking away the things that our children may show interest in and love. For example, my oldest son, he loves basketball. Like he really, really loves basketball. And for him to be told, like, you can't play on this team unless you're vaccinated, it's a botherance because as his mom, I know for myself the reason why, and I explain it to him, but still he's a child. You understand? He still
Right.
wants to interact in the things that he loves. And it's so sad that they could even feel, how can I say, even feel like they have the liberty to do this to these children, to the point where now, like for myself, we're going to pay out of pocket for him to go to basketball.
And that's the way it has to go. And see, people out here have to get it in their mind and understand that right now we're in a war. Okay, it's a quiet war. It's not a war where you have to put on fatigues and an army helmet and get in a battalion, but it may have to get like that one day, someday. But right now, it's not at that level. Right now, we're in a war. You know what I'm saying? A quiet war that's been waged on us for a very long time.
But we could stop that
We
too.
can stop it. And see, a lot of people out here don't realize that we, as the majority collectively, have the power to stop everything that a minority, a select few people implement on us on a daily basis. Because the power of many is only in the hands of a few. And that power that is in the hands of a few really belongs to the hands of many. And we gave up that right. We give up that right every day when we consent, when we go along to get along, when we conform, you know. What more does it take for people to wake up and realize that the people that's in control of the world, so to say, not necessarily really in control, but they think they in control, don't really have our best interests at heart.
I agree. And they would never have our best interests at heart, but that's why we need to boycott. Like literally boycott. Listen, I won't go into your stores. I won't get on your plane. I won't send my kids to your school. Like if you're trying to take away what my freedom of living looks like for me and mine.
That's right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the saddest thing is more sheep, right? It's more sheep in the sense of, and no disrespect to nobody when I make that statement, because there's so much people that sit there and be like, oh, I want to travel, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go take this shot. I want to go sit in the restaurants. We worry about the minuscule things and forget that we are so strong as a unit together. So now if we still have 80 million of us that choose not to allow them to give us the jab, for those who did choose to get it, the 80 million still needs to stand strong and say, well, look, I'm not giving in, because that's exactly what they want you to do. So little by little, they start taking away everything that you are used to, were comfortable with, what you figured was normalized, and now it's no longer normalized in a sense, right? And for me, it's a bunch of crap. But we as a people, we need to really stop worrying about the small picture, because it's a bigger picture, and we need to understand that not because they present something to us means that it's good. And it stems from the older generation too. You know, the older generation is stuck into this doctrine of, oh, you know, the government ain't really going to do nothing to hurt us in no form or fashion. We did immunization, and all of those things that we have came about to do have been unhealthy, have caused certain side effects, have given us certain sickness. Cancer didn't just up and come out of nowhere. Diabetes didn't just up and come out of nowhere. And I think the problem is a lot of us is willing to just bow down to whatever's in front of us just because we want to live a particular life, instead of standing strong in what's righteous and you making it better for our children that's coming up, and allowing them to continue to have their freedom of living. That's what it is. Your freedom of living is being taken away.
Right. And people, stop looking for a hero to fight for you. Okay? I say that dearly. Why I say that is because every generation we had someone that they put before us as a hero, someone to look up to, get behind, romanticize, fantasize, and idolize, and get behind their message or whatever agenda that they're pushing. And just like that, they take that figure away from us. We as the people have that innate ability in ourselves to be the hero of our own super villain story or whatever. Pardon me, I know I'm saying some words, I'm rambling, scrambling, but you know we over here blowing that herbal. However, back on track. However, we as the people have to wake up. If we stand together collectively, we can be that ultimate superhero, as opposed to putting all of that burden, responsibility, and pressure on one person to lead us to the promised land.
And you're 100% right about that. And the next thing is that bothers me is the fact that we have so much that's incarcerated, so much of our young brothers and sisters that's incarcerated that are being forced now. And they listen, once you get locked up, all your choice goes out the window, right? But now your choice is out the window, and now you're being forced. And I have a big problem with that. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if I choose not to want something to enter my body, whether I'm locked up or not, you guys should not have a way to force that on me. And I just want to dig a little deeper with that also. The jail systems are horrible. It needs to get better. like, I don't know what type of reform this shit is. It's not. They have been using a lot of our brothers and sisters that's locked up in the jail system as guinea pigs. And this is just ridiculous, okay? By all, like, when I hear certain stories and all of that, it bothers me. And I also have a brother that's behind the wall. That shit is just like crazy. The shit that these people continue to allow to happen.
We gotta look at the word reform. We must look at the word reform. Think about it, family. They played a lot of tricks on our mind with the language, because language only have you languishing. Language is only used to languish, and language could be used as a spell. Think about the word reform. They taking it from one form and putting it into another form. Prison reform that necessarily means prison resolution.
I agree, because there's nothing that you can see that's resolving, and it's not reforming anything.
There's no
Period.
rehabilitation.
It's not at all. Not at all. And that's why I say they are being used as guinea pigs, and they're being forced to put things in their body, period, without even a choice. And that shit is horrible, because they are people. You understand? They are people. And then on top of it, to make it worse, they gotta live in inhumane conditions. Period. That shit is no way of a reform. Give me a break. I can't. Like, I want our people to be aware of certain things. And for those of you who are in my bushes, those of you who came through and support, just please be mindful of what's happening. We got to take a stand. It goes back in the days, right?
In
We
the
did the
bushes,
book.
make sure you water the roses.
That's it. And I mean, we can do it, but it starts with us. And I think we lack that. And with us lacking it, we're allowing the other half to just go down the drain. And it's not okay, because nobody should be forced, like I said, regardless if you committed a crime or whatever may have happened that landed you in a situation, that you should be forced or treated inhumane. Period. How do you feel, Puerto Rican 360?
I mean, I feel also that it's being forced. I don't feel like a lot of these professionals, like in the medical field and the educational field, even, the city workers and stuff, have been working on the job 20, 30 years. And now you're telling them, well, either get it or no job for you. Like, how unfair that is.
Yeah, or you taking my
Throw you
retirement.
away.
Are
Throw
you
you away.
like, I worked for 30 years to lose my retirement?
Right, like they're trying to cause another Great Depression.
They don't care.
They already started it.
Like for back in the days, you look at those pictures from the Great Depression. It wasn't the poor people out there selling stuff. It was the rich folks. Okay, all the people that worked in the stock market and all that had a whole bunch of money, live in the lap. Now they're in the streets selling their Rolls Royces for $100 and things of that nature. So, like,
Chicken dinner.
it's not cool. It's really not cool what's going on. We have to stand up. We can't allow for them to violate our human rights. People, stop being scared.
And know
Because
your rights. And know your rights, because they've written it in the Constitution.
Anytime you can make a choice on which restaurant you want to go to, which phone you want to buy, which car you want to drive, which new hair weave you want to put in, uh, you can make a choice to stand up for yourself and say no to the shot. You can say no to the shot.
right, don't let the media scare you.
Don't let the media scare you, because it's nothing but maniac European devils in action. Multi-ethnic destruction in America. Shout out to Professor Griff.
And it's been a lot of that going on a consistent. And you know what's so funny? That's why they don't like him speaking. That's why they call him an anti-Semite. All that, it's just like a whole bunch of bullshit that you realize that have been displayed over years to keep us in a loop of being blind. I request my people to just, you know what I'm saying, do your own research. I'm not saying to take it from me, but do your own research on anything that anybody brings to you regarding putting into your body or into your mind, period. Do your own research. Don't take word of mouth. I want you guys to please subscribe to Theodicy Podcast, hit the notification bell, the up like button. So every time I go live, you guys know when I'm going live. And I'm gonna be getting into a whole lot of deep discussion. I also want you guys to stay tuned for the first lady presenting Auntie's house. Trust and believe me, when she opens up, y'all are gonna be in for a treat. She discusses all different types of topics, but mainly she keeps it on what's happening in our world today that deals with our children today. You know what I'm saying? She's very powerful. So I want you guys to please look forward to seeing the first lady presents Auntie's House, NYC. I promise you, you guys will not regret it. What our goal is ultimately for me when I come on to do commentary is to come in and show you guys a good time, but always, excuse me, drop a jewel, leave you guys with something to take. And I hope that I have done that tonight. I want us to realize that we have to get more stronger as a community. And even within our community, if we see something that's not right, call it out. You understand? And also realize that we are stronger than what we really analyze ourselves to be. We just have to believe within ourselves that we're strong. And knowing our rights is so very much important. That means, my people, go look up the Constitution. Find out your amendment rights on certain things. You understand what I'm saying? And stick by it. Don't allow yourself to feel like you are being forced because you're worrying about the minuscule things. You see, you feel like life is long, but life is not that long. You got to prepare life for the ones that's coming behind you now. So, with that being said, guys, I will be back. Of course, you guys know I will be back to either upload or do another live. And like I said, subscribe to Theodicy Podcast. Hit the up like button for me so I can get up in that algorithm, the notification bell, so you do know every time that I do go live. And I appreciate you guys, all of you who came in, those who were in the bushes. Um, like I said, y'all came to kick it with me. Y'all see what my banner said? Let's talk about it. We're going to be doing a lot of let's talk about it. And of course, I would like to thank my guest, Puerto Rican 360 and Ultimate K-Man. As y'all know, the music that you hear in the very beginning, any new music, any new beat that you're going to hear in the beginning does come from Skull Crusher Production. I'm going to allow Puerto Rican 360 to, give you guys a rundown of where you can find them at, their email if you're interested. Trust and believe me, we got to support each other, people. That's the next thing. We got to support each other. Just how we go and we support Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, and all that shit. We got to start supporting each other so we can keep on leveling up. Remember, y'all, we got to worry about the little ones that's coming behind us so that they don't have to struggle and go through the heartaches that we are going through right now. Like I said, guys, I'm going to turn it over to Puerto Rican 360. Go ahead, baby girl.
Yeah, guys. So if anybody's interested in any beats or any jingles of any kind, you can find us on IG at Skull Crusher Production _7, or you can email us at skullcrusherproduction7 @gmail.com. Peace and have a good night.
Yes, and also, again, guys, don't forget, I'm going to remind you because, like I said, presenting Auntie's House is on its way, y'all. It's on its way. Skull Crusher Production _7. The beats y'all need, the beats that y'all need. You understand? Support. Let's support the Odyssey Podcast. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, up like button, all of it, so that you could be tuned in with me. And tell a friend to tell a friend to come through. Hit that beat.